Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I have a really special project I want to share with you. In this project, Beyond teamed up with Verizon to build the first ever stadium in Fortnite through the power of Verizon 5G ultra wideband. In addition to the stadium, we also created 4 mini-games in the stadium, which include a race game and speed run that were built in collaboration with 3D Lab, who are the creators of Tumble Lads. We only had about a month to get all this done, as we wanted to launch these maps in time for the Super Bowl. And with the maps being as complex as they are, it's fair to say that we're working on them almost every single day. With that being said, sit back, relax, and let me show you how all these maps came together. Before we started anything, we had lots of meetings with the client to discuss what exactly they wanted us to create. We settled on a stadium that would have a big enough area inside of it that could house all of our mini games that we planned to build. Once we had decided on the size of the field, I started creating the template for our stadium stands. These were super memory efficient and only consisted of 90 or so props, which only took up about 270 memory. Using these stand templates, I multi-selected them in an oval shape around the ring gallery to create the terraces of the stadium. I left gaps in the stand on the second and third level, as this is where I will be putting the VIP seating area and 2 of the stadium screens. With the stands of the stadium complete, I moved on to building the screens of the stadium, which would be embedded in the stand. I broke this section up into pieces consisting of less than 100 props each, so it could be easily multi-selected into the stadium. I repeated the same process with the VIP area of the stadium. These sections will later be modified to create the suites and lounge. Creating the roof of the stadium was the next task that needed to be completed. We settled on a traditional circular roof with large gaps in it to let in light, as we had learned from our previous soccer map that the stadium can feel super dark if you don't do this. Adding this neon white trim also added a bit of contrast by breaking up the shadows to define where the different terraces started and ended. We really wanted to add more screens to the stadium, so we decided to create a giant jumbotron hanging from the roof in the middle of the stadium. At this point, the field was looking really bare and empty, so the next challenge we tackled was lining it out. We used this garage door piece to create the lines on the field, as it had a really good render distance and a nice white texture which made the field look super realistic. We then got the super talented creator Skittles to build the NFL logo, AFC logo, NFC logo, and all the numbers that mark the distance to the end zone. At this stage, the stadium was very traditional looking, so our next task was making it more exciting and adding inspirational elements from Raymond James Stadium, where the Super Bowl will be on this year. For all of our games, we needed a pre-game lobby, so the next part of the stadium we built was the lounge, which would double as our pre-game lobby. We got a lot of help off the creative team at Momentum to bring this space to life, and I was absolutely blown away by the end result. This is by far the best pre-game lobby I have ever seen. Since the Buccaneers have a pirate ship in their stadium, we decided to create our own. After a lot of contemplating, we decided to put the pirate ship floating above the Jumbotron. I was in charge of building this, so I decided to go all out and make it completely custom, rather than using the pirate ship gallery template. I wasn't too sold on the idea at first, but once it was all done, it looked absolutely spectacular. The stands of the stadium still looked quite boring, so we built some waterfalls cascading down towards the field. We then created an island on the edge of the field, where the water created a small lake. We really wanted to stick to the pirate theme, so we made this island look as tropical as possible. We then multi-selected all of this over to the other side of the stadium. We also added a few more details to the screens at either side of the pitch to liven them up a bit. With the base map now complete, we transferred it over to 3D Lab's account so they could start working on the speedrun and race game. Now we needed to start working on some of the rooms that will be accessible in the exploration version of this map. The first rooms I started building was the suites, but before I could design the suites, I needed to create a lobby first. This lobby features an elevator which will teleport players to it when it's used in the main entrance of the stadium. There will be 2 different types of suites. One will be larger and not feature a balcony, and the other one will be smaller and would feature a balcony. A lot of the design inspiration for them was taken from the lounge we had previously built. These suites were also modular, and I could easily multi-select them to create 5 suites in total. The last thing that needed to be done to finish this section was to tie them together by building a 2-story corridor. Each suite would also be themed after different NFL players which would be visiting the stadium, so we changed the colour in every suite to match the colours of the teams they play for. Now it was time to start working on the main entrance to the stadium and the concourse, which gives players access to all the different parts of the stadium. This was again inspired by Raymond James Stadium in Florida, which has a huge billboard at its entrance. The first and second levels of the concourse were looking super empty and uninteresting, so we decided to create a sports bar in the second level and decorate the first level using some design inspiration from our lounge, which included these massive chandeliers hanging over the entrances to the terraces. Again, taking inspiration from Raymond James Stadium, I built these two massive structures on either side of the stadium's entrance, which would incorporate the stairs leading to the second level of the concourse. With the concourse complete, we started working on the different rooms that you could access from it, starting with the player locker rooms, which are themed after the NFC and AFC. We then built the merch store at one end of the concourse and the trophy room at the other end, which housed some display cases featuring some Super Bowl rings. The last part of the stadium that needed to be built was the exterior. We based a lot of the design off of this plan view. We started off by building a fountain at the front of our stadium. This would have a Verizon 5G logo displayed on it, which Skittles built for us. This led us to start constructing the area around the fountain. The addition of palm trees and the waterfalls cascading down off each of the buildings on the left and right made it feel super tropical and reminiscent of the Tampa Bay area. Ticket booths were then created, which also act as a barrier to stop players from leaving the explorable area of the stadium. With that finished, the playable section of the stadium was complete. The first buildings we created were at the back of the stadium and included a modern looking waterfall. The built up area around the stadium would not be explorable and only acts as an illusion to make players think they are in a sprawling city. We used these memory efficient modular skyscraper templates that Tri built to achieve this. We also used these templates to create the city and car park on either side of the stadium, which finished off the map. The very last thing we had to do was go around to all the screens in the stadium and add our Epic approved custom images to them. These really made a huge difference in bringing the stadium to life. The player suites also looked amazing with the addition of the custom artwork of the NFL players who will be visiting them. In total, 4 minigames were built for this map. 2 were built by 3D Lab and the other 2 were built by Pimmet and Tried. 3D Lab did an absolutely amazing job on the racetrack called Rush Track, which had you riding on hoverboards through different parts of the stadium. The speed run they made called Blitz course is also fantastic and has you competing against other players to finish different parkour challenges to claim the llama jewel at the top of the pirate ship. Pimmet and Tried's Shipwreck showdown map has you engaging against other players inside the pirate ship, while Pimmet's coverage contest has you testing your footwork to score the most points. Here's 12's amazing trailer he made for these maps. He's a super talented editor, so you don't want to miss this. That pretty much wraps up this video, guys. Here's the map code if you want to check out the maps yourself. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you want to see more of my Fortnite creative projects. That's it for me, see you guys in the next one.